You are now watching Cyrus Speaks. All right, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Cyrus Speaks. I am your host, Cyrus Haru. And this episode, I'm going to be talking about the gig economy. So for me, I think the gig economy is super detrimental to our, I'd say, job ecosystem as possible, simply because it creates this like inconsistency amongst people. It creates, or amongst, people working at jobs. It creates a certain level of, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's not inconsistency. It's, that word works too. I guess unreliability might be a good word. The reason I keep looking away from the camera is because I got a light over it that also has an accent to the other lights, and it's kind of difficult looking straight on. So I know some of my other videos, people probably dang, keep dashing away, what's going on. That's mainly the reason, because I don't have it set up the way I want just yet, but I do have pretty good lighting. I just want to take things yet to another level. But that's a totally different subject. But I think that the gig economy creates this idea revolving around every job that, oh, this is just temporary. I think that might have been a good word to use. It's just temporary, people are treating everything like it's temporary now, and jobs are one of the things that we're seeing it have a massive impact on every other, dynamic of our lives. Just, I would say a decade ago, people, they would at least work their jobs a couple of years, give it some time, before they would decide, hey, I'm not rocking with this job anymore. I'm pulling the plug on it. Now it's really, you'd be surprised to see somebody at the same job for more than 6 months. And I get it. The money's not always that great. I get it. But ultimately at the end of the day, nobody's going to pay you as much as you want to pay yourself. If you really want real money, you're going to have to go into business for yourself, or you're going to have to stream together a couple of different jobs, or have one main job and then a couple of part-time jobs, but consistently stay at them though, to be able to build your wealth, if that's something that you're aspiring to do. But this whole idea that I'm just trying to get this regulated. But yeah, this whole idea that when you get a job, just wait until you find the next job, still be applying to other places in the meantime while you're working at this job. And it's dang, man, y'all are really destroying the fabric of our economy. And I know people are going to be like, oh man, the government did this, the government. I'm like, I get it, but like I said, end of the day, you're only going to get as much out of something as you decide to put into it. So unless it's your company, you're not going to get a massive amount of money for working at the majority of these businesses. It's not happening. They're not designed that way, So, the reason I say that, I'm so vocal about it is because now we're seeing, okay, most of the times you go to a fast food spot, you're waiting super long in line because they're understaffed. And they're understaffed because it's a rotating door, because people just come in and leave, come in and leave, come in and leave. And it's damn, yo, when I was coming up, people, they would, work at a job for one of those part-time jobs, at least a year, at least give it a year, probably 2 years. realistically, before they dipped out. They got themselves established and then they dip. That's why you're seeing a lot of people struggling financially, because they're not staying at anything consistently long enough to allow themselves to actually get stable, So you're waiting in long lines at fast food spots. Everyone thought, okay, I get the fast food spots. They're not paying people enough money. And I was like, okay, to an extent, I can agree. But then now we're seeing it in other capacities. We're seeing it at, banks. I can't tell you how many times I go to a bank now and it's different tellers. Now I can't build a rapport with my bank teller, because they're hopping around from location to location, or they're at Fifth Third today, then they're at not Wachovia, Wells Fargo tomorrow, then they're at Truist a couple months from now. It's like, damn, like, and I remember just seeing it in so many different ways. Like one way that really bugged me out was like at the dentist office. I've been going to the same dentist office since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a extensive history with that place. The doctor who was over it, who was over that practice, really nice guy, very professional, older guy. And everybody there were professionals. They cared. They took their time. They made sure that everything was done thoroughly. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, he got older. He ended up selling the practice to, this younger dentist and, his staff. And I was like, okay, I guess this is, time for me to, try them out, give them a shot, because he started somewhere. So, this guy could do the same thing. And, I went there, man, and, just got a cleaning, and it was like the most complicated process ever. They had people that was like younger than me, and I'm not knocking nobody younger than me, I'm not like old or anything myself, but, like, they just wasn't professional. Like, they didn't talk professional. They're in there playing, like urban music, you know what I'm saying? And before, like when it was the older staff, man, they was playing jazz in there, you know what I'm saying? They had magazines on the table, the spot looked very well kept. This new guy, it just felt very unprofessional, like I'm hearing them having conversations about other patients, in earshot distance away. Like, I'm like, wow, like y'all talking about them there in the other room. Like, what we doing here? Like, I'm paying y'all good money, you know what I'm saying, for professional service, and I'm really like feeling like I'm in an area where I'm not too too comfortable with getting dental work done. And that was something minimal. And they had the audacity to call me, afterwards, was like, hey, was you interested in, doing any like extensive work and anything else done? And I'm like, hell no. Like, y'all are bugging. You're not getting no more money from me. Like, I already put in the change, to go to a different dentistry, a completely different company, like, because they also was like part of a chain company. And I'm like, man, I'm not dealing with that. Everybody in there was like, oh yeah, I just started. Someone was like, had been dental assistants and dental hygienists for a while, but they just seemed like they didn't care, because they're like, oh, well, I'm from this location, oh, I'm from that location. I'm like, damn, yo, like, we gotta have some level of consistency. And I don't think people understand, but without having that, it's gonna be very hard to depend on people for important tasks. We're talking about eventually, well, I'm not even gonna say eventually, I'm gonna just say it is what it is. In the police department, You know, you got a lot of inexperienced officers, you know, who are putting people at danger or putting themselves at danger just because, you know, they might not know what they're doing. You know, you got more semi truck accidents happening frequently now because you got people that's just jumping around from one thing to the next, and you know, you got somebody who probably was just a fry cook just last week, and they probably was doing that for like a month. Now they done hopped in the big rig and they don't know what they doing. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna mess around and, you know, really cause some damage out there in the street. You know, you got people who might be like, you know, teachers who, you know, really don't care. You know, they're really just there to pay back their student loans. They're there to do their 4 year, you know, do their 4 year residency, you know, and they're out the door. You know, that's if they stick around that long. They might just risk it. You know, they already, you know, are taking some of the weight off of them student loan debts. You got teachers hopping out the door off of that alone. You feel me? So it's impactful, man, and it's like I don't know what's gonna happen with this next generation, man. Like, I mean, it's really destroying my generation, so I don't feel like the next generation even got a chance, man. It's scary, you know, and people don't seem to care. They're not gonna care until it affects everybody consistently on a broad scale. That's when everyone's gonna be like, all right, wait, okay, we gotta put like a limitation on how long you could be at a company before you can leave, you know. But then that sound like, you know, that kind of sound like some slavery type stuff. But you know, they might eventually come up with something, some kind of incentive to keep people around, something that's positive, man. um you know, and I get it. You know, we're living in an economy where um stuff really is, you know, not as stable as it once was before, you know. But we can't allow that to just stop us from having a level of consistency that's out there, you know. And I'm not saying somebody has to do something for an extended period of time for like, you know, 10, 20 years or so, but you know, just have like some time invested in things, you know, because it's starting to impact other aspects of people's lives. We're having inconsistencies and, you know, people being able to maintain relationships, whether it be, you know, a romantic relationship or a friendship, you know, people not sticking to, you know, their life goals, you know, because it's this fleeting idea. So they're just jumping from one thing to the next, you know, jumping from, you know, trend to trend, you know. Musicians are feeling it hard right now themselves because there was a time when you could come out as an artist, you know, and be the biggest artist, you know, on that platform at that time, and you would have a certain amount of time to build consistent, you know, fan base. Sorry, excuse me, and be able to, you know, continuously grow as an artist, and you know, have fan engagement, and you know, you had your own lane. Now it's like, you know, you're hot today, you know, maybe hot tomorrow, but the day after that, like there's somebody else. You know, they're focused on somebody else, and it don't matter how phenomenal what you just dropped was. It don't even matter. Like they're like, okay, that was cool, but now we're on to the next thing. You know, and even legendary artists now are experiencing that. Like they're getting no love on a long term basis. Everything is like fleeting. You know, you got people like Drake, you got people like Ye, you know, you got people, you know, like Wiz Khalifa, you know, just struggling to stay relevant, you know, and it's scary because it's like, well, damn, like who are y'all gonna listen to, you know, like once y'all done shoot everybody away, like what are y'all gonna listen to, you know? So I don't know, man, you know, I just know that we gotta get to a certain level of being able to stay focused on one thing for an extended period of time. Otherwise, everything's gonna be unstable, and everything will eventually destroy itself. You know, otherwise, this is how societies collapse. You know, people think, oh well, we live in a modern world, we got modern problems. Um, yeah, that's what a lot of different countries thought at some point in time, and they ended up finding out the hard way. Hey, um, it's a wrap. Their civilization fell through the cracks, and they no longer existed. This is why in your history books you got so many different civilizations and different groups of people who just vanished off the face of the earth just because they fell. Rome fell, and I think where we're at right now, that's something very comparable to the society we're living in here in America. And honestly, I think this is impacting everywhere in the world. To be honest, it's not even just here. So maybe y'all take this as a wake up call, just something that you might want to think about, you know. But but yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed today's topic. Trying to put out a lot of content, get a lot of this information out to y'all as possible. Just to open people's minds and make people think, because that's where it starts. It all starts here, you know. Well, if you're not already following me, hit the subscribe button, and also, like the content if you like it, and if you don't, is what it is. That's cool too, I guess just give me some feedback, Well, I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.